Russia is claiming that Ukraine has taken Indian students as hostages and using them as human shields. You can see blatant racism happening in Ukraine. MEA rejected both claims. What do you think is actually happening? How can India save its students? Harsh says, am I biased for thinking Ukraine did absolutely nothing to stop the war and all that? Mm, they are threatening India holding its students hostage. I don't see, and so on. Right. So last week I had shown the video of the Ukrainian ambassador to the United Nations speaking directly to the Indian ambassador and issuing a veiled threat to the Indian students who were in Ukraine. And I have got a lot of flack for that. People are saying you have misinterpreted the words because he did not say clearly that we are threatening students. Obviously, he's a diplomat. He will use diplomatic language, especially when he's making a public threat. He will use language that can be interpreted in a multiple number of ways. But the threat was unmistakable. And whatever he threatened us with, they have actually done it. We know that they have been preventing Indian students from leaving various cities, not allowing Indian students to board trains. Also, non-Indian foreigners like Africans, especially, they have been extremely racist, and it's not one or two instances. It's a pattern. It's a big pattern of racism against Indians, against Africans, and again even against the Greek people. Some Greek students, I believe. That's what I heard yesterday or today, that even Greeks were being subjected to racism. So Greek people, as you know, are not exactly white. They are kind of brown, light brown. So there's racism there also. And we know that Indians have been kept in various cities against their will. So that is called using people as human shields, right? So that is precisely what this individual, this thug, the Ukrainian ambassador, threatened India with, and that's precisely what's happened. So I said this on day 2 or day 3 of the war, right? And today what I said has been we have seen it in action. That's what they did. So they have been using Indian students as hostages. They have been using Indian students as human shields, right? And racism also, as we know, it's happening. So that's what the Ukrainians have done. Even the BBC, which is so blatantly and so consistently anti-India, even the BBC has been forced to report about this, about the racism that Indians are facing. Indian students are being beaten up by Ukrainian police. Even girls are being beaten up by Ukrainian police. Our students are not being allowed to board, are not being allowed to get on trains, on buses. So what else do you see except for what I had said that they are doing? They're using Indians as hostages and human shields. That's precisely what we have seen. And by now, I hope that most of the Indians must have been evacuated. The Russians are also getting involved now because they are controlling large parts of the country. So I think a couple of days ago, about 48 hours ago, they stopped the war for about 6 hours and allowed Indians to be evacuated. Now the MEA, India's Ministry of External Affairs, is still trying to keep the situation calm. It is saying we don't know anything about human shields and hostages. That's what you say. When your people are held as hostages, you will try your best not to antagonize the hostage takers. You will say, no, no, kuch nahi ho raha hai. Everything is fine. They are very civilized. You will say that until you get your people out, right? So our people, our students are still in Ukraine. I think out of the 20,000 approximately students, at least 18,000 have been evacuated, but around 2,000 may still be there. I don't know what is the situation right now as we speak. I hope more have been evacuated. But as long as even one student or one citizen is there on Ukrainian soil, the MEA will try to keep things very conciliatory and not try to and try their best not to offend the Ukrainians, because the lives of our citizens are at stake. Once everything is over, we will issue whatever statement, whichever factual statement we need to issue.